Okay, we're back, and I'm heading into vaults to gain some experience. Looks like we immediately see something we'd rather not. Let's move down. I'll take the risk of fighting it. Unfortunately, we haven't totally canceled out the chance of being banished, paralyzed, or slowed. So I'm going to wear this dagger, and then I'm going to kill it with... I'm going to kill it with evocations. And I'm glad I did this because we've also got this ogre here, unfortunately. So let's just use the wand, or the rod rather, to take the stuff out. And we can bow everything else. I'm not taking the risk that I'll be paralyzed or banished. Even if it's only 1%, I don't care. It's 1% too much for me. And if you have the option to swap something on to deal with a problem like that, well, I suggest you do. I'm going to go ahead and... It looks like we found some gold. I will go ahead and purchase this MR ring we found before. There it is. And you know what? I'm going to wear it instead of the ice MR ring. And we're going to drop the ice MR ring because we already have our poise from our longbow, so we don't really want the ice thing chomping off our fire resistance there. So that's just kind of an upgrade. Yeah, okay, this is good. I see one of those orc warriors has a Mace of Distortion. So we'll try to make sure we kill him from afar. Just shout a bit. Doesn't seem to want to come. There he is. Okay, he's dead. Cool. The Annihilator, that's not good. And we've also got a wizard here, so I'm going to use clouds. Whoa, we just took a lot of damage from a crystal spear. So we probably shouldn't have been fighting this stuff in the first place, but let's blink. And we'll just walk away, using Pog to put some distance between us and the enemy. He can't spear me from this far away, so we're gonna move in. Oh, he has haste up. Alright, let's just Pog safely very far away. Whoa, that could have been another crystal spear. Okay, let's keep walking. He probably won't chase us this far. Oh man, so he did. Okay, that's alright. Let's use Sack of Spiders. Close the door until he... well, we'll sack again. Now let's just see how much damage total that crystal spear actually does. I know it's a lot. I'm assuming like 100. 3d28, so yeah, 90. Roughly 90 damage. Quite a lot. Well, he can't banish us though. So let's just put ants in between us and him and go to max range and let the ants kill him, or go close to it anyway. Okay, awesome. Yeah, as you can see, that's quite a lot of damage. Not something we want to deal with if we can avoid it. Of course, the Annihilator over here has the same thing, so let's finesse. And let's... Tempted to scatter shot, but I'm going to fire. He's blinking around. Okay, we got him. Cool. Alright, awesome. It wasn't so bad. Need to drop some items here. Always obnoxious when you're fighting a relatively hard monster and a Rakshasa clones it, especially if it's like a stone giant or something. Fortunately, we're not too afraid of Death Knights at this point. The only risk is if they agony us, and that's unlikely with our MR. Okay, inventory management. Let's drop the Ring of Protection from Fire. For now, we just don't need it. We have 3 pips. It's insanely high. We will... I want to keep the Enchant Armor on me because I'm sure I'll need it eventually. Not a lot of candidates for dropping here, really. We'll drop the RC ring. We don't need that right now. Okay, that's 2 slots. That's good enough. Hopefully we find some more Identify soon. Sadly, I will put on this dagger again, just because the Ogre Mage can paralyze us. Or no, actually, yeah, paralyze is possible depending on the book. We'll paralyze this Yaktar. Cool. Now everything in this room is trapped, and we'll cloud it. And we'll recharge that cloud wand. And let's just lightning these guys. This isn't exactly the type of cloud we wanted. But I think the Ogre Mage is dead, maybe? Probably. Yeah. Must have been killed by a 2-headed ogre, probably. Just something to watch out for is these casters. There seem to be quite a lot of them, unfortunately, on this V1, where they just have the ability to do a lot of very nasty things to you. So you really want to minimize or erase the chance of them being able to do that. That's why I'm swapping on this MR++. And you always want to have some idea of how you're going to get out of the situation if it does turn south. Ideally, you want to have Pog or something. Scrolls of Blink, whatever you got to do. Wow. Let's have our feel and use that. Oh man, we accidentally pogged an ogre. Okay, let's just walk away from this stuff. Wow, quite a lot of stuff here. Oh, man. Hard to get away. You know, what we're going to do is we're going to Heroism and we're going to Finesse. Oops. Gotta get a little more magic. Now finesse. We're going to take the stuff out as it comes to us. We've sort of disconnected it enough that we're only fighting one at a time. Uh-oh, he's summoning, but we take him out before he finishes. And we should be able to... Okay, excellent. We killed the Ogre Mage. It's really, really nice to have haste on command, or effectively haste on command, which is what makes Okawaru one of the best gods. Especially since haste is no longer a spell. So Okawaru is one of the final remaining things in the game that allows you to haste almost as often as you'd like. I mean, of course, you've still got to pay attention to... Okay, what book is this? You still got to pay attention to your piety and whatnot. But, you know. Man, that wizard just doesn't want to die. There we go, he's dead. Died from the poison. But yeah, if you spam finesse a lot, of course you're gonna burn through your piety really fast. So it's not something you can just use as often as you'd like, even if it is very good. But you can use it in basically any fight that is super difficult. Maybe a little more than that, actually. So that's all you want. I mean, unless you're overusing finesse by a lot, or your character is really weak in ways that it shouldn't be, and that forces you to use finesse a lot, you really shouldn't find yourself running out of piety on Okawaru. I mean, certainly we get to spam it more than we otherwise would be able to because we have faith, but even so. I'm gonna bypass. I'm gonna like put this on my shopping list, but probably never buy it. I mean, it's nice to see slang rings, but what we need is MR right now, so it's not terribly important to me. Yeah, okay. This is fine. Down to Vaults 2. Looks like we can still be Sentinels marked. That shouldn't really surprise us. See, I'm actually okay with being paralyzed if it happens at this range, because then I can get away. And also... Paralyze is not in the same book as Crystal Spear. So, I mean, he could paralyze us and like lightning bolt a bunch of times, but he would still need to close the distance to be able to do that. So depending on how much distance there is, I won't wear the dagger before shooting a couple times. But like, being this close, I would like to just go ahead and kill him. Okay, now I'll wear the bow, because he'll have to cross this. If he wanted to get any closer to us, he'd have to cross this gas. And if I got paralyzed, he would die of the poison, probably. Wow, let's go up. I don't want to get netted or webbed by the jumping spider. Okay, Stone Giant. Whoa, yeah, he does a lot of damage. He's a beast. And that fight's gone poorly, so let's walk south. He might throw at us, that's fine. He can't do 86 damage to us, I don't think. Close, but not quite. And then we'll go up, we'll rest up. And there's our Stone Giant. If he gets a good hit on us, we can still pog to the northeast. He eventually runs out of rocks, so it's a perfectly legitimate strategy to just run them out of rocks by stair dancing. And then they have to close the distance, and that gives you time to... Whoa. Oh, he just blew his signal horn. These guys can do warning cry, which just makes a ton of noise and lures things to the location, or they can mark you, which is significantly worse. Let's just rest and let things come to us. Because we're in a pretty good spot to fight a lot of things. Nice little narrow hallway where we can pog right to a staircase if we have a problem. You'll see me more and more shouting to lure things to me, because essentially what I'm doing is I have a lot more control over the engagement right here, rather than when I'm just exploring. Being within essentially sight range of a staircase it's just better. You can't do this forever. Oh boy, he has a great Sword of Distortion. Yeah, keep shooting me. Don't use that sword. Awesome. What's funny is he closed that door, but we could have just pogged through since we already had the pog up. Don't paralyze me. Okay, good. I don't think that humans get very much MR per level, but you do get some. So I'm looking forward to leveling up and getting like one more pip, which I think I should at some point. I don't know the formula, but it's like you get a certain amount per level, and you'll get more per level if you're something like a Spriggan. Okay, we've identified all of our potions, which leaves only Brilliance and Experience unidentified, so if I find an unidentified potion, I'm probably just going to drink it at this point. I don't see us really needing Brilliance unless Malign Gateway shows up. We might try to get that online, but probably not. Okay, we want to set up a pog so we can get away. Set up another pog. Ooh, we miscast. This is a good time for Heroism. Probably should have Heroismed a little bit before. I don't like pogging into the unknown. And unfortunately we seem to have pogged the Freezing Wraith, so I'm just going to bail on this and go down the other staircase. Okay, pretty smooth run so far. I mean, unfortunately we've seen quite a lot of wizards and ogre mages, but magi? But in general, I think that this is going pretty well. Hard for it not to with the longbow on our side. Okay, let's be ready to run away from this, since as we know, they can do quite a lot of damage. Probably if I go under like 100, I'll run away. That's kind of my go-to number. 100 is a nice round number that you can safely assume that almost nothing in the game can do more than 100 damage to you at once. Probably 120 if you wanted to be totally inclusive on like every single attack, including sort of very rare ones like Firestorm. I assume that can probably do quite a little bit more. And Crystal Spear cast by like an Ancient Lich probably can do. Actually, I'll take a look now, because I am curious. Let's see, an Ancient Lich Iron Shot is 3d44, so that's over 120. And an Ancient Lich Crystal Spear is 3d48, so almost 150. So yeah, if you're dealing with something really late game, then obviously you might want to bump that up a bit, but throughout the mid game, you're fairly safe, assuming that if you have 100 hit points, you're not going to die. Now we are marked, so we are going to... I thought I could just duke it out, but there's a lot coming, including a wizard. So I think I'm gonna teleport. I'm not going to cancel, but I'm gonna cloud all this stuff. Which it's confusing, which we actually like because this stuff will stay confused after we're gone. Okay, this is cool. Now we'll fight things as it comes, as they come through the door. And if we see something we don't like, we'll just go up. We're marked, but we're not really in any danger. Oh, now we are. Do I want to duke it out? No, I don't. I don't want to duke it out while marked and a Vault Warden's coming. Let's go up before he locks it. Because we don't know what else could come, you know? Vault Wardens you want to really play careful with. You see one, you want to make sure you're fighting it by itself, if possible. They're just kind of hanging out in that room. Wow. Oh, we'll feel this guy. Okay, good. Let our water elemental do a little bit of work for us. Okay, here's the warden. We'll just pog away if he was going to cause us a problem, but he went down pretty easy. You see how easily longbows just take out everything. I mean, I've probably said that a few times by now, but personally I'm always amazed by just how powerful they are. It's essentially just... You're basically iron-shotting things. Just endlessly. And I mean, I would almost say it's more powerful than a Trog worshipper who's berserking a lot. Because, you know, with the Trog worshipper, you still have to get in melee. Whereas, like, unless I'm facing Yaktars like I am right now, I'm pretty much not taking any damage. Because I'm killing things before it can arrive. Oh, Cyclops. Why don't we take it out? Oh man, quite a pack here. Didn't really want to die very quickly, did they? Okay, cool. Wasn't actually a very big pack, it was just being a little stubborn, dying to my arrows. You know, I may actually do vaults in one straight shot. I would have liked to have a portal projectile, but I think that with the combination of Pog and the amount of resources that we have on hand here, we could probably do V5 right now, depending on just how nice it is to us. We only have 160 hit points, not too happy about that. We just, if you recall, a moment ago I looked up how much damage Ancient Liches can do, and that's almost as much as I have, so something to keep in mind. Let's Pog away. Really want to watch out for these preservers because they can injury bond and make it very hard to kill things. Let's try to do that trick where we aim through things, making sure that we can hit the things behind it if we miss. Tabbing will not necessarily do that for you. I do not want to be fighting this many mages at the same time, so I'm going to cloud them. I mean, if they all decided to bolt at the same time, could definitely die. Looks like we have a bit of a visual bug here. That's okay, though. if I walk over here, it'll clear it. Web Tiles has problems like that from time to time. It's not really a big deal. It doesn't affect anything mechanically. You just will see something wonky on the map that doesn't quite make sense. Oh. Let's walk away from this stuff. Don't want to be next to a hasted wizard. I hate the fact that the ones with haste also have Crystal Spear. So, certainly possible for them to Crystal Spear you twice in a row. And then what are you going to do? Well, in my case, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen by keeping distance. But that's just how careful you have to be. If you want to consistently win this game, you need... Oh, whoops. Fighting near a Za trap is not a good idea. But yeah, you need to be aware of the things that can just kill you. You know, because nothing is worse in this game than just sort of being surprised. I mean, you don't want to have to take that L just because you forgot that, oh wow, this wizard is hasted and now he can Crystal Spear me twice in a row. Seems like an unlikely scenario, and it is. I mean, if you look at the math, he has 4 or 5 different things to choose from. So, is he going to Crystal Spear you twice in a row, 2-3 times in a row? Probably not. But if you give him the chance to do it, he eventually will. Just keep walking backwards, trying to keep as much distance between... Oh, I'm slowed. How did I get slowed? I really should add something to my RC to warn me when that happens. Like, you feel yourself slow down. Looks like it was that invisible whatever. I don't remember what it's called, but there's an invisible monster that can slow you when it attacks you. So we're just gonna bail on all this nastiness. And we'll go down another staircase. Being slow, don't ever underestimate the power of being slowed. You know how, I'm sure you probably are aware of how broken being hasted is. There's a reason why they took the spell out of the game. Well, being slowed is obviously, it's the opposite of that, so you're as nerfed as you would be buffed. So it's very, very significant. That's one of the reasons why... Oh, I should not have attacked that. That could be... Okay, never mind, he's not. He's not able to cast Paralyze. But yeah, like, being slowed... That's one of the reasons why I think Formicids are one of the best races, is because they're immune to paralysis and slowing. And so they don't have that reliance on finding MR that other races have. Because the game can sort of become an annoying gear check to a degree. I mean, there are certainly ways to minimize the chance of getting paralyzed. But for one, eventually you're going to make a mistake. But even if you don't, the game is certainly capable of, like, throwing this Lich at a corner and you auto-explore and there he is. Or, I don't know, you're just like exploring, even if you're not auto-exploring and you're being as careful as you could possibly be. You move, he's in sight, he paralyzes you. And then now you've got a bunch of stuff next to you. So, it's just something to be aware of. That you can't necessarily control everything. And a lot of it is about what you're gonna do when your luck runs out. Like, if things go south, what do you do about that? Of course, trying to minimize... Oh, he's invisible. But we can still see where he is. Do we get some experience? he's not dead. Lightning Rod didn't take him out, and he's invisible now. So, what to do? Okay, I'm gonna actually Ice Blast this thing. I don't know if it's almost dead or not. Reactivating auto pickup. Okay, he's dead. That was good. Really wanted to keep my dagger on because I wasn't sure if he had paralyze or not. I did see that we probably identified the book that he had. Actually, I'll take a look. I could have looked him up and looked at which one had Bolt of Cold. Yeah, it was just slow, so I didn't necessarily. I could have started. I didn't necessarily have to keep the dagger on. I could have worn my bow and just got to work with that. Man, these Yaktars. I'm gonna kill the Yaktars first. They go down a lot faster than a Vault Warden. Softer. Of course, I can two-shot Vault Wardens if the RNG wants to play nice with me. That's just not necessarily the case. I wish that Song of Slaying had spawned. That's really good, especially on a bow user. Just more slaying in general is, I mean, of course it's good, but on a bow user it seems to be better because you can neglect your defenses a little bit more. Really hoping Okawaru is a pal and hands us some gloves of archery. That would be pretty sweet. Okay, cool. I'm trying not to be next to these guys. They still do pack a punch. Pretty nice longbow, but not as good as the one that he gave us before. Just taking a look at all the artifacts that have spawned in case I missed anything. I'm gonna take a look at this bow. It's a short bow. We almost certainly won't use it. Yeah, we won't. But if it was like plus 11 short bow of speed, I might consider it, I guess. Assuming it had like some good stats on it or something. It's always good to take a look. As usual with Stone Giants, we're going to set up our portal, our Passage of Galubria, just in case we need it. If by the time you are in vaults you do not have some repeatable way of getting away from things, even if it's swiftness, you know, if you get swiftness to a high enough spell power, you get quite a few steps out of it. If you don't have a way of getting away from a speed 10 monster that's next to you, consider getting one. You know, unless you're worshipping Trog, there's almost no excuse for it. And even if you are worshipping Trog, you should put high priority on getting some evocations up if you find like a plus blink item. If you, you know, I mean, Trog, you can even sort of use Berserk as an escape tactic in a pinch, since it does haste you, and you can get a few hasted steps out of it. But like, other than a Trog worshipper, there's almost no excuse for learning a little bit of spells, just a little bit, just to get like Blink Online or Swiftness or something, because it really does suck to lose a game strictly because you were next to like a Stone Giant and you couldn't get away. Okay, we have 500 gold and there's a bazaar, so let's magic map. And let's walk straight to it, shall we? Could get some nice things in here. Okay. Some orcs. Just sort of clear these out quickly. Yeah, there we go. Not too hard. Even warlords should die pretty fast. Only get hurt a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's go in. See what we can find. I like to go through the whole thing and just spam O. And then I like to search for gold. And you'll be able to look over everything that's in the bazaar. Obviously, it'll be the things marked bazaar. I see some books. I see scrolls. The scrolls will probably be the things that we buy. Let's see. Well, 520 gold portal projectile. That's kind of something we really would like. What else is there? Malign Gateway. No. Okay, so I can get access to portal projectile, or I can get 2 scrolls of teleport, a scroll of blinking, and a scroll of enchant armor and immolation. It's a tough deal, but I do think I'm actually going to go for portal projectile because it's just so useful for Vaults 5, and we're probably going to go straight to Vaults 5. That was a tough choice, though. Those scrolls are certainly useful, but it's just the fact that I have so much in the way of scrolls already. I think we're fine. Now, don't think that I've forgotten about the fact that I'm wearing the salamander hide armor. I don't know about all that. On the other hand, we do have 24 AC, which I think is more than the Draconian ends up with. So, we're better off than we were for last game's DRCJ. Gonna bounce around with Pog a bit here. An artifact scarf. Well, that's an interesting item. Not one that we really need. Let's see, 24, 24, 20, 26. Yeah, we'd be trading 4 AC for 2 EV from the extra decks, so that's not really worth it to me. So, as neat as it is to have an artifact scarf, we will not be doing that today. We're going to dig out this little wall. It's the only way in. Picking up these 2 scrolls. And we'll identify one of the scrolls, which is Immolation. Very good. We could, with Immolation and Torment, we could go take on TRJ at some point soon. But all things being equal, I would rather have our core, if possible, while in there. Hey, we've got the Scroll of Acquirement. As usual, I think we're going to acquire armor. We could acquire book if we were trying to get Malign Gateway or something like that, but I think we're good on that. Whoa, crystal plate armor. That's an interesting choice. That would make us unable to Pog, though. This annoys me because I love crystal plate armor. I'm probably going to pump strength through the rest of the game and see if I can't get Pog online in it. Because if I could... I'm going to learn little hexes, by the way, so that portal projectile is a little better. But yeah, if I could get my stuff online in crystal plate armor, as much as I would prefer to be like mixed EV versus AC, that's just so much defense. I mean, I like to I like to go hybrid, like Dodger plus armor wearer when I play as Okawaru, because heroism benefits both. But man, it is hard to pass up crystal plate armor when you have the rare privilege of using it. Well, this is a neat little vault. This vault spawns a bunch of hats and robes. It's like a magician's stockpile, I guess. I don't want to risk the confuse. Let's wear the dagger until we know what he is and lightning rod him to death. Okay, cool. Alright, so we got this artifact hat. You know, I will trade a little bit of AC, like a couple points, for the Sin ability, because being able to see invisible is more important than people, I think, appreciate sometimes. Knowing that there's something next to you before you start getting hit. Oh, moving around a little too quickly here. That's an interesting hat, one that we're definitely not going to wear. Hat RC+++, but MR minus. No, thank you. Let's see what, is there anything else? Nah. Not gonna bother checking out the robe. Oh. So he's hasted. And he can corrosive bolt and hellfire. So we don't want to really take chances with him. We're gonna lightning bolt, and he dies. But unfortunately, we've got a demonologist next to us as well. We'll make the Pog, and we'll try to kill the demonologist. If we can't kill it before he summons something else that's nasty, yeah, we've got this Hellbeast coming at us. Let's close this door and Pog out. Wow, I forgot Hellbeast can open doors. Box of Beasts. Unfortunately, the box falls apart. Probably didn't have to box there, but I get a little nervous when I see demonologists, and makes me prone to misplaying, I think, these higher level elves. Because they can do things like summon that 6 Furky, and that can cause a real problem for you very quickly. Of course, we are doing very well on resistances, but we lack certain ones, which will allow us to take quite a lot of damage from like lightning bolts and 6 Furkies and things like that. And of course, the demonologist, there's nothing stopping him from summoning things that are far scarier. Okay, Orc Sorcerer cannot paralyze us anymore at our current level of MR, so we can safely tab them. So I think we can just clear the last of this floor, and we may actually go straight into Vaults 5. I'm gonna Heroism so I can more easily take out this Vault Warden and the rest of this stuff. Quite a lot of it, unfortunately. What's doing damage to me? The Yaktar? Well, so as not to waste more resources, let's bail on this. We're actually quite hurt. We'll Pog away. Yeah, always remember those Yaktars. They do really good damage, especially in concert with a couple buddies. So they're not really something that you would like to fight the whole pack at the same time on most characters. If you have like D-Missile or really high AC, then that's, that your mileage may vary on that. Oh, awesome. Paralysis is 0% now, even without the dagger. So that's good. Let's go up and reset this fight. and go down a different staircase. A little bit slow going on this floor, but not too bad. Find a flight ring, don't really need it. Okay, let's remember that these mages can do a lot of damage to us very quickly. Now, these archers are annoying on a bow character. I'll often use evocations to take them out because they have repel missiles up all the time. If Yara's spawns, sometimes I will actually memorize it, because with Yara's you can... You know what, we are actually going to memorize that here in a minute. Because that would let us... We can Yara's off, deflect missiles, we can Yara's off, repel missiles, which sort of barely exist in the game anymore. Only on scarves. And on certain monsters. Okay, yeah, we'll memorize Yara's. We should be able to get it online pretty fast. If the game would let us actually get to the book. There we go. Yeah, we'll memorize Yara's. I'm a big fan of Yara's. It's fun. It's got its uses. We'll just train just a little bit of transmutations. Really shouldn't take us long. Once we get some heavier armor on, it probably will. We're actually kind of scared of death mages, especially when they have such a nice little army with them. Because we have zero negative resistance. So not only will they hit us for quite a lot of damage. Okay, we're gonna... Yeah, not only would they hit us for a lot of damage, we get drained as well. But get drained a lot, actually. But it's dead. Now we have to deal with this Annihilator, which I'm going to do my best to keep him several squares away from me. Because Crystal Spear only shoots like 3. So if he's within 3 of us, we'll take the portals away. Otherwise, we'll just keep swinging. Which is not to say you're totally safe if you stay out of range, because... let's just look at the Deep Elf Annihilator stats. Sure, Crystal Spear does 3d34, but Iron Shot does 3d28. That's not that far off. So you're still liable to take like 90 damage. So don't think that just because you're not next to it, you're like safe from damage from an Annihilator. Even the Bolt does pretty solid damage. Look at that, we've already got Yara's at 56%. Yara's will prove useful for a lot of things. If they have haste on, if they have might, I think you can even use it on might. If, like, they cast invisible. Really, really useful spell. It's at 50%. I'm going to start training hexes at the same time as transmutations once it catches up here, since we have the same amount in both. Fire Dragon Scales. Let's pop those on and see what our defenses are. It goes to 27-20. Doesn't really affect our casting that much. Unfortunately, we lose a pip of cold resistance, but we don't really care about that much. If we pop the Salamander Hide back on, we see we have 4 more EV and 6 less AC. So the Fire Dragon Scales, that's where we want to be. We'll actually have 2 more armor class because we have 2 enchant armor scrolls. So maybe once this floor is done, I'll sort of reconsider my situation with the armor. it'll be unfortunate losing the progress I've made on, oh man, on Yaras. Let's get out of here. Wow, that's bad luck. I'm gonna text here, hold on. Anyway, yeah, if you got something that's got Torment on the board, it's probably a good time to reset the fight. Could have taken a lot of damage there. Some unlucky Pogs. And of course it wasn't fun that a Yaktar just sort of appeared next to us because it took the Pog we tried to make. I'm going to take this Scale Mail just to see what it is once I go up. Let's find out. Not very good. +1 scale, +2 slaying. Yeah, so this is why you want to reset the fight, because now there's not a Tormentor that I have to deal with. And I can just arrow the Lich to death. By the way, this Lich is slightly transparent. That means he's invisible. I can see him because of my hat. If I wanted to Yaras him, it would... If he was living, I believe it would malmutate him. But since he's undead, I don't think it'll do anything. It will do damage, though, and take the invis off. You just don't get the side effect of malmutating. What it should do is rot them, but I don't think that's implemented. So that's something to keep in mind. Yaras is a very useful spell in a lot of scenarios. Alright, now we're training hexes as well. More things in the game use buffs than you think. Okay, check it out. I have 36%, but I'll risk it. Okay, cool. So it explodes. It says, the Deep Elf Archer's magical effects unravel. Then it says the enchantments explode, so it malmutates him and hits everything around him. And now you see that he doesn't have repel missiles anymore, and we shoot him, and he dies. We don't have to deal with repel missiles. It's always nice. Okay. Not that I wasn't concerned about that Deep Elf sorcerer there. I just had Pogs set up, so... Oh, we miscast. Okay, but not a bad effect. That's fine. I probably shouldn't be casting this thing with red. Oh, he's repelling missiles again? Yeah, I guess it refreshes, or maybe they have the ability to cast it. Yeah, they do. But, yeah, I really shouldn't be casting this with red miscast chance, because transmutation miscasts, for instance, they can just pop a malmutation on you, like a bad mutation. I'm not really sure about the hex ones, but I'm sure they're not good. Okay, cool. All in all, we're having pretty good luck, I think, with some of these elves, even if we're running into a lot of them. And the plus side, by the way, of knocking that repel missiles off is, in this case, now they have to spend a turn, or they might spend a turn. I'm going to test something out. I'm not sure what happens if I try to... What? I wonder what happens if I Yaras... I don't think this actually works. If you Yara something next to something with things on it, you have to target the thing itself, and I mean, I think that's pretty obvious from the UI here, where this is a darker sort of grayed out color, and this goes bright everywhere. I keep miscasting, unfortunately. Shouldn't really surprise me at 30% fail rate. But we haven't gotten hit with a malmutate yet, so whatever, I'll take it. Cool. Take a look at my gifts for a second. Looks like I haven't missed anything. I was really hoping for like Boots of Running or something, but you know, I can't really complain about what Okawara has given me so far. This bow is more than enough. to finish out the game with style. Cool, we have fog identified now. That's always very useful. Let's take stock of our situation. So we do have a hatch that we could take into Vaults 5 if we felt like it. We're not going to do that to start out with. Let's go ahead and start enchanting up the FDA. As much as I would really love, I'd really love to wear that crystal plate armor, I just don't think this is the character for it. Fortunately, that leaves Yara's not terribly castable, but it does give us a little more AC to work with and more GDR, if that matters to you. It does matter to me. So, what a lot of people like to do is they like to go down, they like to read a teleport first, then they like to go down and just maybe pop a haste, pop a might, kill some things, teleport, land somewhere on the level, and then, see, my problem with that is that you might be able to make it to a safe spot in time, or you might just take a ton of damage because, whoops, you landed in a circle of deep elf sorcerers and they just hellfired you, now you're at 1 hit point. Have fun with your splat. Instead, what I like to do, I like to go down, get an idea of what's here. If there's like a Vault Warden, I think you'll always have time the first time to come back up immediately. If there's not a Vault Warden, I like to just kill some of this stuff. And if I see a Vault Warden, I'll go right up. Or if I start taking a bunch of damage, I'll go right up. But I have... You know what? I'm gonna do the meme strategy, and we will immolate. Hopefully, we'll kill the stuff before a Warden shows up. Yeah, this is fine. I guess with 3 pips of fire resistance, it should be okay, but I'm gonna quaff healing just to be sure. And curing. And we'll just lightning bolt. This is a little silly what we're doing. I don't recommend this as like a real strategy. I'm using resources that I don't need to be using, like heal wounds. But the thing is, with this, it will lure a lot of the stuff to this part of the level. And so when we teleport after this, we'll be less likely to land. We'll be less likely to land in a bunch of monsters because all the monsters will be heading towards the center. And that's if we decide to teleport. What I might do is I might come back down and pog my way south, or use blink scroll or whatever. But let's see if we've just killed ourselves. I don't think it's possible with 3 pips of fire resistance. Yeah, we'll drink 1 more cure, heal wounds. This is just so satisfying that it's hard not to do it, you know what I mean? When you have a character that can probably survive it. Awesome. The Orc Sorcerer gets taken out. Let's go up. There's now some things. There's now stuff that can. Well, the Frost Giant can't hit us because if he bolts, it'll just sizzle on one of these guys. But there is the Shadow Dragon next to me. He could bolt me for a lot of damage, and this Yaktar Captain could hit me for a lot of damage. These guys could swing and hit me for a lot of damage. Let's go up. I think we've had enough fun doing the dangerous stuff. But that's the meme strategy. Go down, maybe haste. We didn't haste, but like go down, haste, might, resistance, immolate, kill everything. it's an option, but I usually don't use it. So here's what I think we're going to do now. So we've made a ton of noise in the center, and there's a shadow dragon there, and he can push us off the stairs. So I think we're going to take the hatch now. And the first thing we'll do when we go down, if there's stuff around us, is we'll probably use haste. Okay, now this is unfortunate. Looks like the hatch leads right to the center. You know what? Let's passage west. If we would stop miscasting, that would be nice. We're gonna heroism, and we're gonna finesse. We'll take out the Yaktar. I do in fact see there's a big pile of nasty things coming for us from the west. We're gonna teleport. This isn't quite going how I wanted it to, I'll tell you that. We'll heal well. No, we will go into this pog. Oh, wow. Quite a lot here. Let's go up. Oh, no, we teleported. Just one... a little bit too fast. I should be hasted right now, but I'm going to blink over here instead. And I'm going to read fog. I'm going to take a step, and then I'm just going to start pogging east. Wow, and it lands me here. Okay, now we're going to use haste. Should have done this a while ago. Alright, now we're just going to start walking. Unfortunately, we see that there's another stone giant. We'll feel him. Was hoping that that would... I was hoping that that would land between me and him. It didn't. We'll arrow him. He's doing a ton of damage to us. I think we're going to have to invisibility. Take a step. Well, let's see. Can he kill us? I think he can kill us, so we have to heal wounds. He's doing a really good job of guessing where we are. We're trying to get to... Wow. Forgot that pog was still open. We're trying to get to the northeast corner. I will say this isn't going too hot. Isn't going too well for us right now. Probably, this is one of the reasons I hate Vaults 5. There's a lot of ways to screw it up. Let's use agility so that our defenses are a little less crappy. We really just need like a moment of safety. Take out this guy, hopefully. Okay, cool. Take out the deep troll. Whoa, 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 whoa! I did ZD to cast passage, and then I just pressed up once. And for some reason I must have like fat-fingered the key or something because I just flew north. Really bad thing to do. What happened is I didn't have the mana to do it. Wow, gotta be more careful. Let's read Fear. Vault Warden unfortunately resisted. We'll Cloud. I meant to Cloud the Vault Warden. Okay, hold on, let me slow down. Making a lot of unforced errors here. Okay. Just gonna stretch for a second. Okay. Play a little bit slower here. Alright, so we'll arrow this guy. Yeah. I don't want to be on the screen with the Titan if possible, because it can smite me. At least, I don't want it to be on the screen with me unless I'm swinging on it. We still have haste up and heroism, so we should kill it pretty quickly. Notice that our bows, well, we're drained right now. If we weren't drained, it would be 27. But this is still pretty high. We should do pretty good damage. And we kill it. Okay, haste is ending, but finesse is still up, so this is okay. Titan's dead. We still have to take out this captain. We're still invisible, so that's to our credit in terms of monsters thinking we're in a square that we're not in. Should I have gone into Vaults 5 at all? I don't think so. I probably should have done crypts first. But of course, this is looking a lot more difficult than it needs to be, because I'm making a ton of unforced errors. But I think we've slowed down a bit on that. I'm going to go south a bit. Hopefully that dragon doesn't see me. I'll heroism and finesse again. And take out all comers if I can. Really don't want to get blasted with negative. But it could have happened. Thankfully it didn't. I'm okay with things coming one at a time while I have haste and finesse, or finesse and heroism up, rather. Let's use might. One of these days I need to find out if might actually makes me do more damage with a bow. I think it does. At the very least, it increases our EV a bit, since it increases strength. So yeah, this is pretty good. We're doing our Legolas thing here. Let's definitely see the Demonologist as the primo threat here. Take him out first. If a demon had showed up in front of him, I probably would have portal projectiled. Okay, Yara's is, once we get hexes and transmutations to 10, we will... let's finesse and might, or finesse and heroism against this. Unfortunately, we eat the drain. We now have red drain. It's a real shame, but there's not a lot we can do about it. Not a lot we can do to kill that guy any faster. Let's walk away from the Deep Elf Elementalist. He has repel missiles, and I want to say that Yara's does a lot of damage, so... or does a lot of noise, rather. And the last thing we want to do is make noise right now. Actually, let's see. Maybe we can kill him quickly. No, we can't. His MR is better than I thought. Maybe we'll just passage. Okay. We've probably cleared a significant portion of the top right. And you notice, despite using finesse and heroism quite a lot, we're still at full piety. Part of that is because of... certainly part of that is because of faith, but part of it is just that heroism is very cheap. Geez, we are really getting drained a lot. This is where a lot of people will forego negative resistance, but man, it is important if you want to avoid taking a ton of damage from drain or taking a bunch of drain. And I mean, all it takes is like one extended run-in with a drain weapon, and then, like, surprise, you're now in red drain with like 0% skills. Definitely don't want him to get next to us with that Morning Star of Distortion. Most of this stuff goes down pretty easy as long as we have like a hallway between us and the bad guy. Just a little bit of a chance to shoot him as it approaches us. By the way, as you can see, almost 1,000 arrows. We're not going to run out of arrows anytime soon. We could, if we felt like it, we could swap off of Okawaru right now. Oh man, I will Heroism. I should have done that before. I tend to try to be careful with Titans, just because they're able to stand there and heal themselves, and it's hard to finish them off, and they'll smite you, completely bypassing your AC, and so on and so forth. Oh. Well, that's an interesting ring. There's some RN plus for us. I don't like the -5 dex, but I can live with that. I won't wear it for now, but I will keep it in my inventory. Because I want the extra MR for reasons that should be obvious by this point. Sphinx can technically paralyze me. Let's go this way. Man, stone giants are really a hassle sometimes. Just that sort of unpredictable 50-some damage at range. Really can be a run ender. Like, a lot of speed runs die to stone giants, I believe. Okay, yeah, we made quite a lot of damage with, or we made quite a lot of noise, rather, with Yara's. So that's something to keep in mind when you use it. But he's no longer repelling missiles, so he dies pretty fast. Okay, good. Thought I was going to have to pog kite him. Oh, a dagger. Cool. Let me ignore that. Okawaru really has this this habit of giving you things that you just don't want or need. Sometimes they'll give you something really amazing. We're doing okay against this guy. Cool. Thought I was going to have to use a blink scroll for a second there. Of course, these guys can constrict you. Tentacled monstrosities are something you definitely want to watch out for. If you are trying to fight at the entranceway, they can constrict, so you can see where that would be a problem. Trying to safely stair dance. They can stop you just as easily as wardens can, if they get next to you. What's the range on this blast? 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he can pretty much do it whenever he wants to. It's be nice for him. Well, Heroism. I was kind of hoping he would come chasing us, but Heroism should last until we track him down, maybe? Maybe not, that's fine. A Titan is just as good for killing with Heroism. We'll identify this amulet since we don't want to take off Faith. And it's total crap, so we'll drop it. Finding a few different pieces of jewelry here that we don't really want. Okay, we still have Heroism up, so this should be sufficient. Short bow, don't really care about that. Maybe if it was an artifact, we'd take a look, but... Okay, we'll turn on fighting armor and dodging, and we won't turn them off until they hit 22. Floating eyes are always a scary sight to see. Thankfully, we can kill them in one shot. Surprisingly, I haven't had to use Portal Projectile, but you'll probably see me doing it before the game's over. Anytime we want to fight something that's, you know, behind one of our enemies. Probably not a good idea to try to clear the center too quickly. I will finesse. There's a few things heading towards me. Oh, man. I guess I'm glad I finessed. Even if it was only 2 things. Usually the center is a little more crowded after doing what we did with the immolation. Thankfully not taking too much damage from that Annihilator. Totally don't care what this amulet is. Okay, cool. If we wanted to leave Vaults 5, we could. We don't want to. Wow, look how fast we can kill golden dragons. Just with heroism. Probably don't even need it. Mostly just tabbing into them with our longbow. I mean, if that doesn't convince you that longbows are excellent, I don't know what will. I'm gonna step up. Hit for 53 damage. Wow. Forgot they were so good in melee. Let's just arrow him. Don't need to worry about double zaps from the lightning bolts because there's metal everywhere in vaults. Oh boy. I'm next to an Ettin and a stone giant. Let's not be next to an Ettin and a stone giant. I will use a scroll of blinking. That's totally worth it. That was my mistake for not taking the hatch to get a little bit of distance between me and this stuff. Well, heroism and finesse. I'm overusing finesse a little bit, but with the amount of stuff that's pooled here, probably worth it. Probably not necessary, but you know, we're still at full piety. If I start going below max piety, then maybe I'll be a little more concerned. Waru's still gifting me very quickly. Humming ringmail. Probably not something we want. Oh wow, he caught us with our shirt off. Yeah, just a +5. Not really something we're gonna wear. Making some good progress here. Pretty soon we'll be able to... Ooh, uh-oh. Storm Dragon. Come on. There we go. And we'll pog again. Heroism, finesse. Just wanted to put a little bit of distance between me and the Storm Dragon. You see, I am still afraid of lightning because I don't have electric resistance, so the Storm Dragon can do a good chunk of damage to me. I would actually Honestly, I'd very much like to be wearing Storm Dragon armor, but I've already started enchanting this FDA, so we're probably going to sit in that for the rest of the game. Turns out we had some summoning scrolls this whole time. That would have been useful in certain scenarios. Let's find out what these gloves are after we inventory manage a bit. Hey, Ring of Robustness. That's always a good find. I still don't think I'm going to skip out on my magic resistance for it. As silly as that may sound. But I'm going to keep it in my inventory. I'm certain that I'll wear it eventually. Or swap it on in situations where I know that magic resistance is not an issue. I think we're going to go ahead and drop the dagger. Well, no, I really shouldn't. Having a swap on to be totally immune is a good move. Alright, we'll drop confusion since we have paralysis. We won't be using these gloves. Didn't think it would be better than my existing ones anyway. What scrolls do I not have identified? Brand Weapon, Holy Word, and Silence. Well, I guess I don't want to waste a Holy Word, so I won't read ID. Not a lot we can drop here. Everything here is stuff we kind of want. We do not have the third rune yet, but we'll get it very soon. Got a book, got another book, got a third book, and I see that Malign Gateway is available to us now. I will actually memorize it. No promises that we'll actually use it. But wouldn't that be fun? Don't need any of this other stuff. Looks like we just picked up a wand of random effects. Oh no, we just walked over it. Not a lot left on this floor, probably. Just kind of mopping up at this point. It was a bit of a wild ride at the beginning. It didn't have to be. I decided to get just a little bit fancy for the purposes of the video, but you don't have to do that. Chances are good. Chances are pretty strong that if you are using the immolation strategy, you're showboating. You're not actually doing the optimal thing. But there are reasons to do it that are legitimate. But if your go-to is, hey, I just want to immolate and blow up all these guys, I mean, if that's fun for you, go ahead. Absolutely, go play for fun, play for yourself. But if you're trying to optimize your win rate, it's almost definitely the wrong move. I do like to just kind of do the fun suboptimal thing sometimes, though. As much as I'm trying to make these videos to demonstrate at least, partially optimal play. Sometimes if you know you can get away with it. I mean, 3 pips of FR, we were pretty safe. Okay, sweet. Soon we're going to be able to take a look at the loot here. Saw some glowing boots. We'll check those out right now. They're flying. We're not going to actually wear those. because I'm certain that I'll forget that I have them on, and then I'll get airstriked or airstruck for a lot of damage. So we're not going to do that. Looking over this loot, I see some artifact scale mail. We'll pick that up and try it on. It's not good. Let's see. I don't see any other artifacts. I think that we have everything out of this that we would want. Look one more time. Yeah, we're pretty much good. Now, we got a Phantom Mirror, which gives us some extra options against the Royal Jelly if we want to make this a 4-rune run. And I think I do want to make this a 4-rune run, despite the fact that our core still hasn't spawned. I mean, I guess we could wear Acid Dragon Scales, but I don't think so. We could, though. Unfortunately, we haven't found more immolation, which would make it a lot easier to do certain things. Let's just see what our defenses become when we throw on Acid Dragon Scales. Probably very crappy. It's sort of like the old model dragon armor. 24-24 versus 29. Well, that's, yeah, 24-24 versus 29-21. That's actually not that bad of a change. And then we gain 1 pip of cold resistance, and we gain our core. I think that's actually worth it. So I'll tell you what, we'll get in position. And the next video, we'll just dive right in. I am going to train some evocations while I'm doing that. And we'll see how much evocations we can get by the time we get down there, because what I think I'm going to do is paralyze TRJ, or try to, and then Phantom Mirror him before we paralyze him, actually, and then just like portal projectile him to death, and just deal with the giant pile of enemies that he no doubt will spawn, which shouldn't be the end of the world considering that we have Pog, so we can totally get away from it. And our MR is almost enough to be immune to the shenanigans in there from Golden Eyes, so I'm pretty confident. This character is going very, very smoothly. And I always think that if you think your character can safely or near safely do 4 runes rather than just 3, you should go for it, because that extra loot pile from Slime, or the extra loot pile from Vaults, whichever one you didn't do, will improve your character significantly. And you could always go into Elf. I haven't done Elf on any of these runs so far because it's just not fun, in my opinion. There's just too much risk of dying to something stupid in there. I don't recommend doing Elf unless you A, really know what you're doing, and B, have your escape strategies down pat. Like, you have the ability to reset fights over and over and over and over. Like, you need to have Pog at like a minimum to safely do Elf, in my opinion. And even with Pog, Elf is sort of a crapshoot. I personally just don't like doing it. I used to, it's nice to get the big treasure pile at the end, but the chance of just dying, it's not worth it to me. So, let's see, next video we'll go into Slime Pits. Depending on how long that takes, I might lump that in with Crypts. We'll probably do Crypts if I have some negative resistance by then. Otherwise, we'll probably go straight into Depths and see what we can do. So, until then, I'm signing off. I hope you enjoyed the video.